Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi is undeniably the most divisive Star Wars project ever. From the pointless additions of characters like Rose Tico, to the underutilization of stormtrooper turned good guy Finn, to the unnecessary subplot of traveling to a casino to be fed propaganda on how all government entities are terrible. Is that all though? Am I missing something? I feel like there's something else that fans have been bickering about for the last 6 years. Yes. Luke Skywalker. You see, the past decade or so, Hollywood has been on this kick of sequelizing famous franchises to bring in a ragtag team of diverse and politically correct youngsters to help push the story forward. They are inevitably connected to the previous protagonists in some form or fashion, and they're used to help guide these newcomers on their journey of not only the story, but becoming the new faces of the franchise. Look, I really enjoyed The Force Awakens. Would I have rather seen Han, Luke, and Leia together in the Falcon once more? Absolutely. Would have I wanted the story to focus more on them and their place in the galaxy? Again, yes. But I didn't mind the addition of Rey, Poe, and Finn. Each brought an interesting angle to the franchise that, while slightly mirrored or matched that of our previous faces of the franchise, they could absolutely build and become their own force in the story. So heading into The Last Jedi, the future of these characters was bright. Poe, the daring and charming pilot, and Finn, the embodiment of rebellion, and Rey, the catalyst and mysterious draw. But what does Luke Skywalker have to do with any of this? Well, after establishing in The Force Awakens that these characters are the main focus, The Last Jedi shifts not just nearly all of these characters, but also the new ones introduced to the side. And it's done to focus on Luke Skywalker and a very, very divisive take on his story. Let's not get into whether Luke would or wouldn't become a hermit after failing his nephew. That much has been debated non-stop for years and will continue to be for years to come. Rather, let's take a look at how shifting focus to Luke and his divisive story not only hurt The Last Jedi, but the sequel trilogy as a whole. Going into Episode 8, it was believed that Luke would be used in a similar fashion as Yoda was in The Empire Strikes Back, an old Jedi Master who is reluctant to train a young, headstrong, Force-capable character. After some reflection, he begins to train this person, allowing them to gain a better and stronger understanding of the Force and their place in the story. And sure, that kind of happened in The Last Jedi, but did it really? Not only was Luke used too much, especially after establishing in Episode 7 that the legacy characters would be nothing more than supporting roles, they made him a character that was hard to watch and relate to, as we did in the previous trilogy of his. Rian Johnson had two avenues to take with this film. Stick to the plan that JJ set up with using legacy characters as supporting roles. Luke would be more of a Yoda here, or could have made Luke a Jedi who is searching for answers on how he failed, rather than needing to create a large backstory and arc that was so divisive. Either one of those would have allowed time and energy to be spent with the other leads in the series. Finn could have continued his struggles of being a former stormtrooper while also hinting to his Force abilities. Poe could have been the one leading the resistance after Leia was incapacitated, showcasing his uneasiness in being a leader, but ultimately showing he is more than capable in a time when he is needed most. This would have built up our new characters and given us more reason to be attached to them. Instead, we get far too much time with Luke moping around, hardly training our new Jedi hero, and then needing to be taught by Yoda once again. Look, you can love this movie all you want, but the time focused on Luke was a disservice to the core cast. Kylo and Rey's story was a jumbled mess. The constant attempts at deceiving the audience by Rian Johnson was annoying at best. But what truly hurts this movie and the sequels was Johnson's unwillingness to develop the characters that mattered most. And because of this, J.J. Abrams or whomever would have been directing Episode 9 was facing an impossible task to wrap up their stories in one final film. This does fall on Kathy Kennedy for not allowing Lucasfilm to flesh out the story before rushing in, but this also falls on Rian Johnson for thinking he could do his own thing. Be damned what the next writer-director could do. There are quite a few issues with this movie, but the worst and most damaging to the franchise was the lack of character development. Focusing too much time on Luke and the misdirects took time away from everything that truly mattered. Look, you may disagree, and while you're wrong, that's your right. But either way, I want you to tell us in the comments what you think. Am I right? You know, when you sit there and start to look at The Last Jedi, again, we're not talking about the ideas and direction they took with Luke, rather the overall approach to the film. The lack of character development, in my opinion, is truly what hurt this movie. And it's because Rian Johnson chose to focus so much on a story about Luke that divided the audience. To me, it feels like Rian Johnson was, from the very beginning, looking for a gotcha moment. And every step of the way, from the start of the movie when Luke throws the lightsaber over his shoulder to the end of the film when Luke isn't actually there facing Kylo Ren and the First Order. Again, let us know in the comments what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? Regardless, if you think I'm wrong, I know I'm right, but that's besides the point, everyone. Make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe. With all that said, may the Force be with you.